Hey guys, Ronnie here from Earlybird Farm SE, and today me and my buddy Brian right here, we're heading over to Abbeville, South Carolina, to the Clemson Extension in Abbeville to pick up some fruit trees and some pecan trees that I ordered. So we'll see you. Hope you enjoy the ride. What would a road trip be without a trip to Bojangles? All right, guys, we made it up here to the Clemson Extension. We're gonna get out and see what we got. See you then. All right, guys, we just left the Clemson Extension office here in Abbeville. Wasn't much to show you there. We were just picking up these trees here. This is what we got right here. They're bare root whips. There, you can see they're about 6 foot tall here. We ended up getting three apple trees. We got one wine sap, one red delicious, one yellow delicious. Those will cross-pollinate, and then the wine sap will cross-pollinate with my Arkansas black tree that I got. Then I got one Yates apple. I forgot about that. So I got 4 apple, one Burbank plum tree, and then I got a Stewart and 2 desirable pecan trees. So I'm really excited about the pecan trees. Got to pick out a good spot for this, and hopefully I get these in the ground tomorrow. And maybe we'll show you a little footage of that. All right, guys, this is the next day. After we picked up these trees, we're gonna go ahead and put a few of them in the ground. I went and got about a half a bucket full of compost. I'm not gonna need a whole lot of this. This is gonna go in the hole with the trees. This is kind of like my process that I've been doing with my trees here lately. And the compost here is rotted wood chips and leaves for a fungal dominated compost. And last summer we cleaned out my neighbor's lakefront property, all the aquatic weeds out of there, pretty much with a truckload of aquatic weeds. And I've mixed that half and half with wood chips and compost, so it should have a lot of good biology in that compost. And then on top of that, we made some biochar about 2 weeks ago, and we mixed in with this. Now the biochar, you know, it's just charcoal that's been inoculated with biology. Basically, I took my charcoal and I soaked it in fish emulsion, kelp meal, a little bit of sugar to kind of get the bacteria kind of growing in there. And I soaked that for about a week, and then I mixed it in with my compost. So it should be on its way to being charged. And I'm gonna bring you down here and show you this first tree. We actually digging this tree up. We had a deer come by, a buck specifically, and rub this tree in half. I've showed it on a few other videos, but I'm gonna cut my losses with it. It does have some sprouts coming out of it earlier in the season before the dead of winter got here, but it was coming off of the root stock and not the actual the graft on the tree. So we don't know what that root stock is, what it would be. So I'm just gonna cut my losses with this and put this new tree in here, and then we'll cage it. So this is a tree I'm talking about replacing right here. You can see we got some comfrey on the front end of it. Most of my trees I put garlic around. Garlic just helps keep rabbits, and supposedly it's supposed to help keep deer away. The more layers that you put around your tree, this is kind of like taken from the permaculture type growing methods. And same thing with the fungus dominated compost and everything. So that's where I get these ideas from. And the comfrey there in the spring, when it starts growing, next year that should start taking off really good, and you'll harvest that and you'll lay the layers of leaves on top, and that kind of just adds to another layer of compost and mulch for the trees here. This is my compost. As you can see, it still has some big pieces in here. It takes a while for wood chips to break down. which I'm not worried about that because this is going to be in the ground. That'll provide moisture and more nutrients. So this is about where I wanted it. I want to bring you down and show you these fungal strands that are growing in my compost. See these? I think this is called mycelium, or whatever, but this is fungus strands. This is what you want in growing around your trees. That is good stuff right there. And you get that with using wood chips and rotted leaves. More fungus dominated and more bacteria dominated compost. Here you have the old tree. As you can see, it's still alive. See the green on it, but I had shoots coming from the rootstock and not from here. There's a couple buds on here. You can see there's a bud. It might have would have made it, but it probably would have looked real funky looking. So soil here is really loose from that tree being in here before, which is good. A little bit of my compost down in the hole. Let's look at our trees. These two are bundled together. These are desirable pecans. These are going to be planted on the other side of the yard. This is a Stewart pecan. I'll probably put tubes on these. Look how long that root is. It's long. In this spot here, I'm gonna put a yellow delicious. So I have a red delicious, a wine sap. Here's my yellow delicious. Nice looking roots on it. We'll go ahead and prune some of these dead branches off. And you know, when you're pruning these trees, you want them to be like ladders. So I'll probably take this one right here off. You don't want them growing close together. And I'll probably cut this. I'll leave this central leader, but I'll probably cut this where it'll try to angle back that way. If you cut them right here where the bud sprouts is at an angle, that'll cause this to shoot out that way. So this first year, you really just wanting it to put on root growth and not really worry about what the tree's going to do. So let's plant this tree. I trimmed off a few of the longer roots here so they'll fit good in my hole. And then I'm gonna stand it up. And that's about where I want it. I want this graft union right here to be above ground level. So we'll go ahead and put our dirt back in the hole. Another thing they say is to make the union point towards the south, I think, so I honestly hadn't really done that a whole lot. Looks perfect to me. Now we'll water it and we'll push this mulch and chips back on top of it, and then I'll bring some more and put around it later. So again, I'm gonna take these broken ones off. I'm gonna take this one off right here. And I'm just gonna cut the little pieces up. This will be fertilizer around your trees here. Just leave them here. And again, you want your limbs to be going out like a vase. I don't like this in here. And I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna cut it here on this bud in hopes that it'll shoot out that way. And I'm kind of cutting them at an angle so water won't stand on that cut. And then this one's kind of leggy too. So we're gonna cut this one right here. It looks like you're doing a lot of damage, but all the source of life in this tree right now is all in the roots. You could essentially cut every limb off of it and it would be fine. Like I said, I'll be bringing some more mulch to put around this later, but I definitely want this mulch around it. I use that 1/2-inch PVC pipe. Just drove it down in the ground about 4 or 5 foot. Hopefully the plan is to one day put up a fence around this and I'll come and take these off. And you can see I looped these into the top one and down there at the bottom out of the bottom one. So that's what's holding the cage on there. And like I said, you really, for the most part, I don't think you need a whole lot on these. The deer come up to it once they see that fence. Hopefully they'll leave it alone. I'll show you this one over here. This is my nectarine tree, and this one's probably close to 7 foot tall. And you can see the bark right there where the deer were rubbing it until I put this up. But I did use a T-post, but it's barely in the ground. I don't want to drive it past the flange because it'll be hard to get out. But I hadn't messed with this since I've done that, and I just, so you can see how I did the limbs. I just kind of bent it and cut it around it where the limbs can come out. Well, I'm gonna do the rest of these and I'll be back later. So y'all stay tuned. So what do you think about the trees we got?
I think they do pretty good, man. I really do.
Maybe next year you come get you some with me, right?
That's right. We'll bring Sawyer over, get some pecans.
Make us a yearly trip.
Yearly trip. We'll see. What you want to get next year?
I think next year I might get some more pecans, and I'll have enough apple and everything, so I might look at some of the other ones. I got enough figs.
You said you got some pears, right?
I do got 2 pears. So I might look and see what else I got. I can't remember what others.
Crab apples. Want to get some crab apples?
Yes, I do want some crab apples for the plant for the deer. So
be pretty good.
Yep.
Right, well, yearly trip.
Yearly trip. We'll do it.
Let's do it.
We'll see y'all next time. Earlybird Farms SC, where the SC stands for South Carolina.
That's right.